Hello, everybody. Once again, we're back to discuss something very tragic, but yet something that needs to be discussed, and it's relating to the Trayvon Martin case and countless other cases like that where injustice, reared its ugly head against black people once again. Um, so let me just get right into it. We lost Trayvon Martin, young man going to go get something to eat from a convenience store, just walking up to get it, minding his own business, uh, and walks up the street to go get some snacks from a convenience store, and ultimately does not return at the hands of a deranged man that stalked him and ultimately took his life. We see this happen a lot, so for me, that means to me that instead of going forwards, we must be going backwards. But not only are we going backwards in regards to situations like what happened to Trayvon Martin, Oscar Grant, countless others, um, we're going backwards. That though the other areas, these other areas I listed here, are reasons why we're going backwards with these high-profile cases that don't seem to come out the way we need them to come out. For example, in business, we're going backwards in business. We're not setting up businesses. First of all, we don't support black businesses, and second of all, therefore we have no businesses. And if we have no businesses, we can't employ each other. And since we are the biggest employer of ourselves, other than the government agencies, then that's going to be a problem for most of us. So business and jobs are definitely going to be hurt by, number one, us not having businesses and us not supporting each other. Finance, the same thing. It's all intertwined. We're not going to be able to finance. We're not going to be able to have finance ourselves to attain more or to have a better lifestyle if we're not able to, because the cost of many things is high in this country. So you're going to have a way to finance those things. You don't have a business, and you don't have your own business. You don't have a job. It's going to be hard to finance anything. So subsequently, a lot of us are in a situation where we can't have the quality of life that we could have simply because we as a group are not putting our money together and supporting our own businesses and creating jobs for ourselves and creating a financial market for which we can finance things from to have a better quality of life. Also, our health. Our health is not good because we're not eating good. We don't even understand the difference between eating good food and eating bad food. Our mental state. If you're not eating good, you don't feel good. So our mental state, you're not going to think good. If you don't feel good, you don't think good. So if our mental state is related to all of these things, and finally, I'm just touching on these things in this opening segment: community development. We can't develop our community because of the other things that I mentioned. You can't develop a community with no businesses. You definitely can't develop a community with people that aren't working. And you definitely can't develop a community with no pool of money to finance the dreams of different people who want a better lifestyle. And without that, without being able to afford anything, the quality of life goes down, and the type of food you're going to eat is going to go down, which means your health is going to go down, which means your mental state is going to go down, which means your community is going to go down, and on and on and on, like a big merry-go-round. But let's look at how this situation with Trayvon Martin happened and can we do to make sure that doesn't happen anymore. Let's move on to let me show you something. Okay, here's this youngster Trayvon Martin going to the store getting some snacks for himself at a convenience store. He's a young man. He thinks he knows it all, but he's like any young man. In most young men, they think they know everything, and he's just a kid, rambunctious kid, but just a kid, doesn't know anything. So he has a lot of things going. He says a lot of things. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He may or may not know what he's talking about, but he's just a youngster. So him being a 17-year-old or 16-year-old child doesn't, that automatically lets you know this young man does not is not fully developed yet. So he may say and do things that are not a culmination of his total character at this point. However, young children like this do things that are in style. And one of the things that's in style sometimes is being rebellious, being aggressive, being, that's just in style. So all that was held against this young man in his trial. But anyway, and excuse me, not his, well, I should say it's his trial because it's actually his trial, not Zimmerman's trial. But anyway, this man right here was found not guilty of taking the life of this young man, very violently and painfully taking his life. And as you can see, he was very happy with that information, and and a lot of people were happy with that information, knowing that the precedent was set for, if you feel that if you are angry enough, or if you can put up a good enough defense, you can go out and kill a young black man like that, or any black man, any black person. And all you have to do is, set the scenario, set the stage as if that person was coming to aggress you. Even if you're on tape aggressing to them, it still doesn't matter. You can be found not guilty. Now my question is, how did this happen? How did this happen? How could this happen? They have the man on tape going and telling to people that he's stalking this young man. There's people on tape. He's telling telling the people, he's clearly demonstrating that he has violent tendencies. He's clearly demonstrating that he has a disdain for this young man, and he's not altogether in a controlled mental state by the way he's speaking to the 911 operator. However, how was this able to happen, where this man was be able to, a clear cut case, he was able to get nothing, no time, no probation, nothing? How did this happen? We're going to look at that later. But the next question is, what now? Now that this man is found not guilty, there's no double jeopardy in the United States. I mean, this man can never be tried again for this crime. He is gone. He is scot-free, never ever ever to be tried again for this crime. So they are now going to say, maybe try him for for Trayvon Martin's civil rights. That's all good. That's all well and good. But there may be some more powerful things that we could do to make sure this doesn't happen again. We need to know what is the next step from now that we have. This made us angry as black people. It made us angry because it was just another spit in our face to the fact that you telling us we're a citizen, but then these things like this happen and show us that we're not, where you keep telling us we are. So what's to do now? Now that we're angry over this, what should we do? Let's look at the options on the table. There's rioting. We could go out and riot and break up a whole lot of stuff. What's the plus side of that? Nothing. You get nothing for that. And as a matter of fact, you prove Zimmerman's case by saying, I had to kill you because this is how you're an animal and you need to be removed anyway. So that's not a good option. Looting, stealing from people, stealing things that aren't yours. That's never a good thing. It surprises me how people that steal stuff in a situation like this, I'm not talking about a hurricane hitting, I'm talking about just social injustice. They go and loot a place like this, but they wouldn't want anybody stealing their things. I don't get it. But let's just look at it scientifically. Looting is not going to get us to the point where a situation like what happened to Trayvon Martin and his family doesn't happen again. Looting is not going to get us there. Senseless violence of innocent people. Okay, we go into the street, people go into the street and they just say, we're going to just attack white people, we're going to attack black people, we're going to attack Latinos, we're going to attack everybody. That's not going to be a solution to anything either. That's not going to get anybody anywhere. It's just going to get a lot of people hurt, maybe even killed. And the ball keeps rolling on young men like Trayvon Martin, or black people in general. The ball just keeps on rolling. The names just keep adding up. The list just keeps getting longer. So how is that going to help us? It's not. Marching. You've been marching since the 60s, since the 50s. You've been marching and marching and marching and marching and marching, and you're still dying and dying and dying and dying and dying. I mean, what has marching got to do with us getting the things that we need to get done? It's a scam. Marching is a scam. That's a scam. That's not getting us anywhere. That's a trick to make you think that you're actually going to do something. What is marching going to do? It's not going to it's not going to stop the situation like Trayvon Martin, what happened to Trayvon Martin, from happening. So we got to cut that kind of behavior out. If we really want to make a change, I'm going to get into how we can actually really make a change, so that the mothers like Trayvon Martin's mother and him personally, our people, we don't have to have these young men dying like this, and women dying like this, for no reason other than the fact that somebody got mad at them because of something they didn't even have anything to do with, which was the color of their skin. Didn't have anything to do with that they were black, born black. They had nothing to do with it, but yet they got targeted and assassinated for those things, or beat up. Many of our people beat up, or just assaulted, period. So back to this marching. We see that doesn't work. It has not yielded any results. You're in worse situation than you were when you started marching back in the 50s with Dr. King. Although the premise is good, the premise is a good thing. The results we see are not what we were thought they were supposed to be. We were told they were going to be, which was change, real change, and it's not real change. It's just getting worse and worse. More speeches, rallies, and demonstrations. We have all these speeches. We have these speakers come out and they rally they get everybody worked up, and they say, go out and vote. Vote for who? Vote for what? Who's gonna do anything about it? The the, the sitting President Barack Hussein Obama, can't even do anything about the situation. Why? Because he doesn't have the backing of the black community that's so powerful that he can do anything about it. He doesn't have our support. But how come he doesn't have our support? He has our support verbally, and he has our support voting, but that's it. Voting is not going to get it done. Unless you have a financial base, none of this stuff is going to matter. You can march until your shoes come off. You can make speeches until your shoes come off. Doesn't matter. You're going to get back up and do just like what we're doing. We have to walk it off. Instead of being able to put so much pressure on the government that they will reopen this case and overturn the situation. But we can't do it because we're not prepared. We're not there yet. But I'm gonna open it up how we can get there. I may be a little emotional because I feel like, I'm not perfect, but I definitely don't think it's right that somebody can hunt another person down, kill them, and then walk away with no time. I don't care if the situation was reversed; it still would be wrong if a black man went and did that to a white man, a white young man. It would be wrong then, but it's wrong. It's wrong this time, but it's just so many. We have so many that have come like that. That has so many times we have made the same walk away from the courthouse the same way, and it's just enough is enough. It's too much. And so, what are you gonna do? Well, I'm gonna get into a solution, a logical solution for this problem. All of those things are not going to help us. That's not going to give us a solution. The only thing that's going to change the system, meaning the judicial system, the executive system, and all the systems that affect us as black people, It's us black people getting together and having economic unity. Our voices will be heard when our money stops flowing freely out of our community and to businesses that don't hire or respect us. See, this is all where it starts. It starts from where we spend our money. I didn't say, but you're talking about Trayvon Martin. How has Trayvon Martin got something to do with this? It has everything to do with this because our our unity should be so strong and financially that if they don't do the right thing, boom, it's gonna be a consequence. But we as black people, because we so scattered and so economically dysfunctional, people are able to come in and just run all over us, and we're not able to. We are not able to force them to not do it. We got to go ask them to stop doing it instead of forcing them to not do it. I don't mean violently. I mean economically, because you're not going to out violence this country. American government, you're not going to out violence them. But what you can do is outspend them if you focus your dollars. You can maneuver your dollars to help you gain. Ask the Jewish community how they did it. Ask the Asian community how they did it. Ask the Latino community how they did it. Ask the Irish community how they did it. All these communities came here and did this. The black community is the only community that we came here. We have a special situation where we didn't come here by choice, but now we're here. We got to get this information, but we're running around wasting time on speeches and marches and stuff like that instead of focusing on the real issue, which is the real issue. If we had an economic unity, an economic base, these people would be in fear of upsetting that economic base, and they would do the right thing just to not lose friendship with us in that economic base. Do you want to change the system peacefully? I know most of us don't want to fight. Most of us don't want to have a problem. Who wants a problem? We don't. None of us do. But sometimes we got to get into a problem if somebody's giving us a problem. But we don't even really have to get into a problem, because all we have to do is do a couple of couple things differently. I mean black people. All we have to do is some things differently, and we could change this thing very quickly. None of the earlier things I mentioned, the speeches and the marches and the demonstrations, is going to work without an economic redistribution plan. And when I say economic redistribution plan, I mean a plan for taking our money and spending it not with where we control where it's spent, where we could say, okay, we as a group are not going to go and spend money with anyone else other than our own group unless we absolutely have to. That's what every other community does. The white community does not spend money outside the white community unless they absolutely have to. The Jewish community, those Caucasian, but I mean the Latino community, same thing. The Asian community, same thing. And all the other communities, same thing. They do not spend money outside of their group unless they absolutely have to. The black community is the only upside down group where we spend all our money out of our community and only spend our money in our community when we absolutely have to. And that's ridiculous. That's how come things like this can happen to us. And the other people who got sense recognize that. So let's get started. The economic unity, that is it. That's the only way. No voting. You can vote for who you want. You vote for Obama, and we still lost that beautiful brother Trayvon Martin. We still lost him. It doesn't. You can vote for who you want to go in there. It doesn't matter. Voting is not the solution alone. That man could only do what he's backed up to do. If he ain't backed up by us, if he's not backed up by a community, he can't. What can he do? He can't do anything. He got to go with the people that put him there. He got to, what they say, you got to dance with the person who brought you to the party. I mean, he's got to go with these people that paid all this money to get him in the office. He's got to go with them. If we stood up and said, and we got together and we were able to back, and we had big pools of money. We have pools of money, but we're not spending them with each other. We spend them with everyone else. So we giving them all our money, as I'm about to show you in just a minute. So we don't have we don't have a pool of money to say, okay, we as a group are gonna back this candidate because he's going sensitive to our issues. And we sit down with him and say, look, man, if we put you in office, just like white folks do, just like Latinos do, just like we sit down with this person and say, if we put you in office, we help get you in office. This is what we expect. This is the list of things we expect you to do. Period. That would be that. But we can't do that because we're not together. So only a certain group of people get a benefit out of something like that. All of us as a group don't. We don't get it as a group. So here it is. Here's the plan. You want the plan? See, I'm not just stating the problem. I'm going to bring a plan to it, right? A plan, a success plan. Economic unity. Change the system with economic unity. Number one, spend your money with black-owned businesses as much as possible. I mean, that's what we're going to have to do. Period. Bottom line. Things like this are going to happen to us until we finally get it through our thick heads that spending money with other people that are not black and are not sensitive to our issues it's just flushing money down the toilet. That's just the way it is. And I challenge anybody to show me where how another community that spends all their money with other people is successful and is profitable and is get the laws they want passed, get the protection that they deserve, and get everything they're supposed to get by spending money. They're having not having a economic base. Show it to me. I dare you, but you can't. But anyway, back to our success plan. Number one, spend your money on black-owned businesses as much as possible. That's going to help our community because it's going to bring jobs to our community. If black business owners have more money coming in, they have to hire. They're going to have to hire more people to be more successful, and it's going to create. And then the people they hire, they're going to have to hire more black people, and more black people will be working, and they'll be spending more money in the black community, and on and on and on, because the businesses are growing, and then on and on and on and on and on, and our community will be just as vibrant as any other community. Then we will have an economic base. People will say, I need to speak to the black community. Not I need to speak to the black community. I need to speak to the black community because I need their help. And if I don't help, I'm gonna make sure I do what they ask me to do, or I'm gonna be in big trouble. People, these politicians ain't scared of not doing what we we ask them to do. They know we not. They know we not together. It's just a cold game once you see how it's going. But anyway, number one, spend your money with black-owned business as much as possible to help our community grow. Number two, look to spend money in businesses that support our community with jobs. So a lot of times we have businesses that are Asian owned and Latino operated in the black community. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. They should be able to. There's no law against hiring Latinos, and there's no law against Asians owning businesses in the black community, or Latinos owning, or whoever owning business in the black community. There's no law against that. There's no law against those things. Here's the problem. The problem is a lot of times they don't have jobs in there for our people. It's in the black community, but it's Asian owned and it's Latino run. Okay, if there's no black people working in there, why are we going in there? If there's no black ownership and there are no black employees, why are we as black people going in there? The Asian community would never do nothing like that. The Latinos would never do nothing like that unless they absolutely had to. We are the reverse. We're first. That's the first stop we're gonna make. We're gonna go right into this place and spend money with these people. We're not even gonna look for a black-owned business. We're just not even gonna look for it, and that's sad. But that's why we have situations like what happened to our dear brother Trayvon, because we don't have the economic pull to stop it. Anyway, look to spend money in businesses that support our community with jobs. Let's look. Is anybody from our community working in here? If not, we can't support business like this. I mean, we got to stop doing this. This is just stupid and foolish. There's no black person working in. Look, they got they got posters of black people and all of the different things you use, and not one black person working in there and no black owner in there. This is a Korean owned business, and nothing wrong with that. Not saying that the Korean person is bad, but if Koreans want to come all the way over here and shopping, let them shop there. And Latino operator, Latinos want to come in there and buy all that hair, let them go in there and buy it. We should not be going in no place that doesn't have any black employees. That's just ridiculous. It's foolish. We just cutting out. We paying for our own coffin. That's dumb. That just don't make any sense to me. But anyway, if nobody's working there, man, stop it. We have to stop it. We cannot do this no more. This is costing us. The reason why a situation like Trayvon Martin happened is because we do not have an economic base to force these people to stop it. And we don't have an economic base because we're not spending our money with each other. We're spending our money with everyone else. I hope I'm making the connection. I want to make this connection so that we can all see. But I got to move along here. Next thing is, if you can't find a black business, go to the Urban Business Network to find businesses that support our community with jobs and more. We have on the Urban Business Network people that have black businesses and that have black employees, and they're just trying. These people aren't rich. They just trying to make a living. They're trying to make a living, and they're trying to get it along, and they're trying to provide services for black people and products and services to black people that they can use, and not for no exorbitant prices, for regular prices. So you can go there and check us out. If not, go to Google. You can go to any place and go online and try to find a black business. I'm just telling you about the network that we're on, the Urban Business Network. But there's plenty of other black business networks out there. Go try them and try to find something. There's plenty of people that could use we could that could uh, plenty of sources to find black businesses. There's no excuse for somebody to say, "Oh, I don't want." There's no black businesses around. No, there's black businesses around. You might take a little bit of extra work, but like the Koreans, like the Asians, like the Latinos and the Caucasians and all others, they will take the extra step to support their brother because they understand that spending that money in their community gives them the financial base to not allow stuff like what happened to us with Trayvon Martin, Oscar Grant, and all these others to happen. Because they can support judges, they can support lawyers, they can support district attorneys, they can support people that they know are sensitive to their situation, all from just shopping with each other. That's simple, but they got that concept. We as black people still have to learn that concept. Let's not wait. What are we waiting on? We don't waiting on Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, or this person or that person. What leader? Listen, we don't need to wait for no leader to tell us what to do. We already know what to do. Stop shopping in places that don't have black ownership or employees, unless you absolutely have to. Unless there's no other way you can get what you need to get done, then you got to do it. I'm not telling you not to shop with anybody that's not black. What I'm saying is that should be the last stop you make. That should be the last. That should be like the, oh, well, I need this. I have to have it. I got to go here. Instead of, let me go here. You shouldn't be running off to them. That's just ridiculous. And it puts us in a bad situation when we want justice for ourselves. It just makes us all the more weaker. So please join us with a peaceful redistribution of the wealth. Support black businesses to promote jobs in our community and provide money to support elected officials who are helping our struggle. Man, we need to put judges in that will look at something like that and stop it from getting into, that'll stop a situation like that from taking place. District attorney that'll stop a situation like that from taking place. They'll put somebody on that case that's going to make that happen. You understand what I'm saying? But if we're not spending money with each other, we don't have that financial base. We don't have that financial base to do that. For any money we get, we run around and I'm going to show you that in just a second. We give it to everybody else right away. I'm going to show you undeniable proof of how this happens. So how can we build a stronger economy? How can we build a stronger community? We're going to have to go the extra mile. Start shopping with more black-owned business. Going to have to. We want to build a strong community, a strong family, strong community, strong economy with ourselves. We're going to have to go the extra mile. I know it's easy to go to the Asian business that's right down the street from your house. That's easy. But it's better for us to go the extra mile and say, you know what? I'm going to support a black-owned business. At least once a day, twice a week, or twice a week. We need to start doing that. Get our minds thinking like, you know what? We got to think like all these other people. White folks, they think like that. I'm going to support another white person before I support someone else. I know they tell you that everything's fair. I know that, but in reality, you got to just look at the data, and don't just say I'm saying what's the truth. Same thing with the Latino community. Same thing with and that's how they keep the community strong, by spending the money. I know I'm beating this in, but I have to do it that way because we are so focused on running around spending money with everyone else instead of we're gonna have to go the extra mile. The extra mile. White folks don't have to go this extra mile because they already think this way. We're gonna have to learn to think this way. We have to teach ourselves to think this way. Use the urbanbusinessnetwork.com to find black owned business near you. You can use our network, but there's many other networks out there you can use to find find a black owned business near you. We just have nothing but black owned businesses on our site, so we can vouch for everybody that's on our site. So but you can use other sites and use them, and it'll be no problem. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to get you to just only use the Urban Business Network. I want you to use the Urban Business Network. It's a good resource, but use somebody. Do something. Don't just sit back saying, it's a problem. Like it just killed me. Like these rioters, they went out here in LA and rioted. You go and riot, right? After you riot and running up and down the street, you're buying your wraps and your beaties from the Asian market. That's crazy. That's crisscrossing your signals. That's hustling backward. Why are we doing that? That doesn't even make no sense. If you're so angry, then stop spending your money. That's how you show people you angry. You stop spending money. You can break everything. These people got insurance. You can break everything, loot. No, that don't mean nothing to them. They're gonna get an adjuster out there, have everything back in there in a week. You the one that's got to walk off. Trayvon Martin ain't never coming back. These people never coming back. We got to deal with that, and we got to stop taking that on the chin. And the way we not to take that on the chin is by doing something for ourselves economically. So where you spend your money matters. Now look, there's four major economies that affect the black community in America. Four major economies: the Asian economy, the black economy, the Caucasian economy, and the Latino economy. I mean, these four major economies that affect the black community. Okay, so for the next example, let's let the Asian community equal A. Let's let the black community equal B. Let's let the Caucasian community equal C. And let's let the Latin community equal L. Let's look at how things run in the Asian community. The Asian economy. The Asian economy is all the money that comes into the Asian community that is able to be spent. That's the Asian economy. Let's look. We said A, that equals the Asian community. B, that's going to equal the black community. C, that's going to equal the Caucasian community. And L is going to equal the Latino community. Let's take a look. Okay, we got one line going out. That means in the Asian economy, they create jobs for themselves. So they have money going out to the community. This pool of money, some of this pool of money goes back into the Asian community to create jobs. And as a result, people they have jobs, they spend money in the Asian economy because they buy goods and services. So it's a nice flow there, like a circuit. It's just flowing. The Asian economy, they spend money with the Caucasian, right? And the same thing, the Caucasian spends money in the Asian economy also. So this creates jobs. This money flows, and it's creating jobs and creating wealth for both sides. The Latino community, the Asian economy creates jobs, sends jobs there, and the Latino community sends money back into the Asian economy. See, nice and flowing. Everybody's sending wealth both ways. There's only one community that money's going in one direction, and that's out. The black community, the money is just only going in one direction. The Asian community is not spending a dime with us in none of our businesses, and they're not spending no money with us at all. Period. The little bit that they do is not even close to the comparison of the money that's coming into them. So I don't even. There's not even a reason to put it up here. The Asian economy equals four lines of income. One, two, three, four. Only three sources of trade. One, two, three. Where's your trade, black man? You have nothing, no trade with the Asian economy. So why in the hell are you giving them money? That's stupid. You should never be going to none of their liquor stores, swap meets, none of that stuff. Why are you doing that? I can't understand that. Anyway, the black community receives no money from the Asian community in the form of trade and or employment, yet we spend our money with them. And it's not their fault. That's our fault. That's not their fault. They have no gun to our head saying you must shop with me. They're not forcing us to shop there. That's us doing the same thing. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Let's check out the Latin community. Same scenario. Same scenario. As you can see, Latin community, same thing. All is nice clean circuit with the Caucasian community, nice clean circuit with the Asian community, nice clean circuit with their own community. Huh? What? Once again, they have four lines of income, only three sources of trade. This is the Latino economy. The Latino economy does not feed the black community nothing, and the little bit that it does is so minuscule. You can't. It's not even worth comparing to the money that we spend with them. It's unbelievable. Caucasian economy, same thing. Asians feeding it, Caucasians feed it, Latinos feed it, and of course we feed it gobbles and trillion, billions of dollars, right? Same thing. This stuff is not the Caucasians' fault. It's our fault for letting them have a freebie, because they got a freebie. All of these people have a freebie. They don't have anything to give us, nothing to get this money. See, they got to give something up to get this money coming in. They got to give something up here to get this money coming in. They got to get to get this money coming in. They got to give up something here. Here, they don't have to give up nothing, man. This money comes straight in. They don't have to give us nothing, and they don't. And it's not the Caucasians' fault. They not. The time they were forcing us to buy stuff from them, they don't even force us to do it, and we still do it. Ridiculous. Okay, who feeds the black economy? Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at that. Whoa, whoa. Check this out. There's only one group of people feeding the black economy. Yet, as soon as the money comes in, it goes right back out. It goes right back out. It goes right back out. We're going to the Asians, we're going to the Caucasian, and we're going to the Latinos. And that will be fine if there was something coming back. There's nothing coming back. Yikes. Black economy has one line of income. Remember, everybody else has four. The black economy has one line of income, almost no sources of trade. Black businesses struggling within the black economy. Because this money coming in is not going to black businesses. It's going right back out to Asian businesses. Coming in goes right back out to Caucasian businesses, right back out and goes to Latino businesses. It's bananas. I don't know why we still doing this. But anyway, I had to graphically show you what's going on. Here's how the black community gives away $1 trillion in income to other communities. Asians. With the Asians, your swap meets, your liquor stores, your retail shops, your knockoff retail shops. For example, your the little shops that sell you the fake Guess, or I don't know, I won't say fake, but the knockoff Guess and the knockoff Levi's, and then basically the knockoffs jeans and whatnot, clothings that they do, that they sell, that we go to. We spend our money there. The gas stations, the cleaners, hair and nail industry. Oh my God, they're killing us there. Real estate and the fast food industry. I mean, they got us sold up. Every kind of thing. We do all of this stuff. This is where we're giving away 90% of our money right here. How about the Latinos? Roofing, retail shops, day labor, restaurants, loans, pest control, professional service, other services. I mean, just bananas, man. How about the Caucasian peripheral services? Peripheral services like lawyers, doctors, loans, real estate, well, loans, real estate, marijuana centers. Now they got marijuana centers popping up in California, in the black community as Caucasian owned. Corporate businesses such as McDonald's, Burger King, and whatnot, malls, retail shops. I mean, everybody got us coming and going. What happened to our businesses, black businesses? We sold out. In the 70s and 80s, certain members of the Asian community created a methodology to take over the businesses in the black communities. They realized that it was the easiest community to extract wealth out from, the takeover. They decided the best way to do this was to take control of the most strategic business locations in the black community, the lockout. After buying most of the black business owners out, they decided to create a network that would give them a competitive advantage by purchasing items in bulk and then only selling them to each other at lower than wholesale prices, and then inflating those prices in the black community at the retail level. This would lock out any competition from providing lower prices and better quality of service and or products in the black community. This right here says, thanks for selling us your businesses. Now that we own all of your businesses and we control now we own all of your businesses and we control the local jobs. Yeah, this man, you got to go to this man for a job now. But wait a minute, this man, his community has a mandate. They will not hire black people. They're not going to do it. Wow. 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 I hope I'm speaking to somebody. The current situation. If you go into the average business in the black community, my guess is that 8 out of 10, probably 9 out of 10, are Asian owned and Latino operated. What I mean by Asian owned, it means the Asian owns the business and Latino actually the employees in there. And this is all in the black community. So blacks are not working in none of these places. Yet we still giving them these people our money. This is bananas. Anyway, this simply means that you have almost no chance of getting a job in your own community based on these numbers. The dumbest part of all, even though we know that they will never hire us or help us with any of our issues, we still support their businesses by spending money with them. This is bananas. Who's to blame? The Asians are not to blame, as they hold no gun to our heads to purchase from them. They are just smart business people who know how to corner fools into paying high prices for cheap goods and poor service. This is totally our black people's fault, and we need to start supporting black businesses, or we will not have an economic base to promote political agendas and heal our community. Let's see what this guy is saying. Now that I control the local jobs, I will never hire you. Don't blame me. I don't force you to buy from me. Wow. Wow. No business means no jobs. The cold reality. In the black community, maybe 1 out of 10 businesses is black owned and operated. If you don't control commerce, you can't control employment and employment creation. He who has the businesses has the jobs. Since the Asians control most of the businesses in the black community, the chances of getting jobs in the black community for black people are slim and none. Asians typically hire Latinos to work in their businesses in the black community, period. No jobs for us, a formula for high crime. Even though there are limited job opportunities in the black community, we still need to eat, live, play, and provide for our families. Left with no jobs, we eventually must turn to crime to produce the necessary income needed to make these things happen. This is not an excuse, it's just the reality. How does this phenomenon I just described relate to the Trayvon Martin case? I mean, how does that relate? I think I've pretty much touched on it. Now let's get into let's really dig into it. We have no economic power to force righteousness against any of our aggressors. I mean, if somebody does something like what what this legal system did to Trayvon Martin and his family. We have no economic base to go to them and say, okay, check this out. Since you guys did that, we're going to do this. This is going to be the response economic blow that's going to happen to you for doing that. But we don't have that power, do we? No, we don't, because we will simply not do one tiny thing, and that's spend our money with each other first. Let's hear what Mr. White Man has to say. We don't picket, boycott, march, and any of that foolishness. My community organizes itself and unifies to create justice for ourselves. I mean, they get together, and if something happens to white people, they don't picket, they don't march, they don't boycott, they don't do all of that stupid stuff. They organize themselves, they get together, they organize, and they strategize, and then they go on the offensive. Not They don't riot, loot, they don't do that stuff. They go in and they start filing briefs, and they organize themselves because they got the community, they go in and start threatening to drop their support because their community is so strong. They start telling people who they're going to stop supporting, from the congressman level to the from the city level all the way up to the federal level. They'll start saying, we're not going to support you, and we're going to tell everybody else not to support you. That's just how they do, and it's very effective. As you can see, it's very effective for them. We're the only ones that picket, boycott, march, and do all this other crazy stuff and make speeches, and we get nowhere. Anyway, white folks don't march, boycott, make speeches, or any of that nonsense when they receive what they believe is unjust treatment. They organize and move out to carry out justice by any means necessary. They have a robust economy that is self-sufficient, and that gets them face time with their politicians. Same with Asians, Latinos, and everybody else who has studied our screw-ups with these other tactics. If we had economic unity like white folks, we could have shut down America by simply refusing to spend a dollar in the economy unless justice was done. America and the Zimmermans are counting on us to continue to be foolish with our money and not unify ourselves. Their hope is that we stay stuck on stupid so that we can never force people in power to do right by us. We can end this by simply supporting black businesses over any other, like others do. White folks shop with white folks unless they absolutely cannot. The same is true for Asians, Latinos, and all others. Black people are the only people that spend over 90% of their money with others daily. This behavior is a fundamental reason why we are unable to force justice for the Martin family and countless others. A strong community has strong businesses. Let's see what Mr. White Man has to say. I support white businesses first. This gives my community the economic base to affect political and social changes that benefit my community. Let's see what the brother got to say. Maybe I need to support black businesses first, like that guy supports his businesses first. How to build a strong community? Well, I went into it a little earlier, but it's basically the same thing I've been saying all along. Supporting black businesses. In early examples, I laid out how other communities stay strong because they consistently trade in their own community, and then only when necessary shop outside of that community. I showed that 3 communities have money coming in from the black economy, but none have money going back to the black community. This is wrong. We give them our money, they give us nothing. This means that we must support our own businesses to provide jobs for ourselves. You saw that no jobs come back to the black community, even though we spend most of our money with everyone else. These other communities are strong because they operate exactly in the opposite direction of the black economy, which gives anyone wealth except black people. They don't shop with anyone that doesn't look like them unless they have no other choice. We need to change over to this thinking to save the black community. How to build a strong community. All we have to do is take our $1 trillion buying power off the American table and spend it with each other mostly, and watch things change. Are we willing to do it? No one person needs to go out and do some crazy attention-getting act, or march, or picket, or boycott, or any of that nonsense. All we have to do is start supporting black businesses to build a future for ourselves in this world. Politicians respect thriving economies, and they will respect us more once we stand up and create and support our own businesses. See what the brother has to say. Hey, I can stop shopping in stores with no black employees and or no black ownership unless absolutely necessary. I can do this. You're right, brother, you can. There it is. That is it in a nutshell of what we need to do. This is what we need to do to carry out the philosophy of having not having something that happened like what happened to Trayvon Martin happen to us. We need to start shopping with black businesses. That's the ground level of this thing. That's the first tier. The first tier is we need to spend our money with each other. Once we do that, we'll build an economy, a thriving economy. Once that thriving economy is going, then we'll have a power, political. We'll be able to get some political power. We can't get no political power with no economy going. People will not respect us and look at us and even think of us as anybody to respect when they see that they can get by without us forcing them to do for us right by do right by us. This is just something. This is my passion to try and help black people get more out of life than what they're getting, and to hopefully to change this thing so that this world could be better for everybody, but especially the ones of us that are black, that have been born into a situation where it's just bad on us. And some of us understand that we're not waiting on white folks to their heart to change to help us. We're not waiting on that. That's unacceptable to us. We have to change. Whether white folks decide they're going to get with the program or not, we have to change our thinking. We got to be able to defend ourselves, and we have to be able to force politicians. We have to be able to do all of this stuff, but we got to. It takes it's a small step for everybody. No one person have to lay their whole life on the line. It's just a small step. We're going to say we're not going to shop with anyone other than black businesses unless absolutely necessary. We're not going to give anybody any money. We're going to do just like everybody else whose communities are thriving. White people's communities thriving. It's not an accident. It's not because black people don't know anything. It's because black people won't spend money in black businesses. That is it. That is the major reason why there's no money in the black. There's not no money in the black community. Why the black community of black people are not doing well. Because we can't get laws passed, because we can't get politicians to get behind us, because we can't get politicians to get behind us, because we have no economic base, and we have no economic base because we are not spending money in black businesses to circulate money in the black economy. Period. End of story. Thank you for listening. I didn't mean to take so long, but it was a lot to get across, and this is how I feel we can avoid situations by what happened to Trayvon Martin and countless others from this thing happening like this. We can avoid that by creating an economic base for ourselves, and then from there being able to support politicians that will, just like everyone else does, support politicians that are sensitive to what our situation and needs, and they agree to do things that we need done to help us have a better community. We can't make any of that happen right now because we're not spending with each other. So let's start today spending more money with each other. All right? We can do that.